Hi, I'm Rachel, and this is Klaus Cloud, the Cloud Venturer, and he's a very good friend of mine. I actually wrote a story about him, about his first cloud venture. I'm gonna read it to you now. Klaus Cloud and the Little Sparrow. It was early one morning as Klaus Cloud flew through Cloudland. The sun was shining and there was a warm breeze that moved Klaus steadily through the air. Suddenly, Klaus heard a noise. It sounded like exciting chirping, but the chirping of a bird that Klaus didn't recognize. Klaus was a curious cloud and wanted to know what sort of bird might be making the strange sounds. As Klaus flew toward the chirping, he saw one of his favorite trees in all of Cloudland. It was tall and green. Klaus called it the smiling tree, because from above, the branches looked like a wide and happy grin. The noise got louder as Klaus got closer. Klaus was excited. He wanted to know what kind of new bird he would meet. Because Klaus is a cloud and can take on any shape he likes, he made himself very small to fit through the branches. And as soon as he came through the leaves, he saw a bird. A little sparrow, to be precise. What surprised Klaus was that the little sparrow wasn't sitting on a branch like any other sparrow would. No, he was dangling from the branch by his little wings. And he was chirping all the while. "Hello," called Klaus. "What are you doing there?" I'm holding onto this branch, as you can see," answered the sparrow in a way that suggested he thought Cloud had asked a very silly question. Klaus was confused. "I see that you're holding on, but why? Aren't you a sparrow? Can't you fly?" The little sparrow sighed. "Yes, sparrows can usually fly, but I can't, and it would be nice if you could help me instead of just floating there and ask me questions. My wings are starting to get sore." "No problem, little one," said Klaus. Klaus took a deep breath and inhaled an enormous gulp of air. He grew and became solid and fluffy. Now he looked like a great big ball of cotton candy. Klaus flew carefully under the tired sparrow, so that the little bird could put his feet on Klaus and use them for support to climb slowly back onto the branches of the smiling tree. Back on the branch, the little sparrow leaned against the trunk and gave a deep sigh. "Ah, that was exhausting," said the little sparrow as he rubbed his aching wings. "Do you feel better?" asked Klaus carefully. "Yes, thank you." The sparrow didn't seem very grateful. Klaus could not hold back any longer. "Why can't you fly?" he asked. "You ask a lot of questions for a cloud," said the little sparrow. "I'm Klaus Cloud, the Cloud Venturer," said Klaus proudly. "I'm the most famous cloud venturer of all time." As he usually did, Klaus forgot to mention that he is the only cloud venturer. If you don't have any competition, it is always easy to be the best in something. "A cloud venturer?" said the little sparrow, sounding impressed. "What do cloud venturers do?" Klaus laughed. "Well, I'm always looking for new cloud venturers." The sparrow thought. "Yes, that makes sense." He cleaned the last dust from his wings and said, "Thank you so much for everything, but I must go now. It's time for me to go to work." Klaus was very surprised. "To work? I didn't know that sparrows had to work." The little sparrow explained. "I live in a colony, with other sparrows. We all work together. Everything is so much more fun if you do it with friends, right? Claus thought about his own friends and nodded happily. In our sparrow colony, everyone has a different job. My job is to find new feeding grounds so that we always have enough to eat, explained the little sparrow. That sounds exciting! You're like a sparrow scout. The little sparrow grinned. Sparrow scout. He liked the sound of that. But how can you find new feeding grounds since you can't fly? Claus wanted to know. Well, I jump, said the sparrow. I jump from branch to branch, then down to the ground and back into the trees. I'm usually pretty good at it. Actually, I'm the most famous jumping sparrow of all time. Claus smiled to himself. He had met a lot of sparrows, and this little one was the only jumping sparrow he'd ever seen. With no competition, it is very easy to be the most famous. Are you also the most famous at finding new feeding grounds? Claus wanted to know. No, unfortunately not, the little sparrow admitted. And that's why I'm going to quit my job today. I will be the first sparrow in history to quit. But I'm just not any good at it. Claus had to admit that without being able to fly, finding new feeding ground couldn't be easy. Then he had a brilliant idea. Little sparrow, I can fly for you. I am always out and about in the sky. I can find new feeding grounds for you easily. I'll tell you where the food is, and then you can tell all your friends. You'll be the hero. The little sparrow thought hard. It did sound tempting to have his new cloud friend doing all the work for him. But then he shook his head. If you do all the work, then I still know I'm not any good at finding food. And if I would bring bread to my colony that I haven't really worked for, it would be full of shame. So, no, thank you. But I'm going to quit my job today and become a turtle. A turtle? Claus asked, surprised. But a turtle can't fly. Isn't there a way your wings can get fixed? The little sparrow looked surprised. There's nothing wrong with my wings. They don't need to get fixed. Claus was now a very confused cloud. But if your wings aren't broken, then why can't you fly? The little sparrow sighed. I can't fly because no one taught me when I was a little bird. And now it's too late to learn. Claus was shocked. But flying is so easy. It's never too late to learn. Claus changed himself into the shape of a bird and flapped his puffy white cloud wings. See? He said as he made a loop around the tree. I can show you how. The sparrow watched and shook his head. Thank you, but no, thanks. It's easier to quit my job and become a turtle than to learn how to fly. So, you don't even want to learn? Asked Claus. No, I don't. The little sparrow was about to jump away. Claus wanted to stop him and said, You can try to fly at least once. What do you have to lose? The little sparrow looked scared. I have everything to lose. Do you know how dangerous flying is? I might fall and break my neck. The little sparrow trembled. Claus spoke very softly to the frightened bird. With the wings you have, it isn't dangerous at all. If you trust me, I'll show you how to fly. The little sparrow thought hard. But what if I don't do it right? Claus smiled. The first time you try, you probably won't do it right. But that's okay. You should have seen me the first time I tried to fly over a mountaintop. I don't know, said the little sparrow. I'm just so afraid. Claus remembered something. When I was just a little cloud, I learned about living in the sky from an old wise gray cloud. He told me that sometimes it was okay to be afraid. If you have to run away from a lion, the fear helps you to run faster. But most of the time there isn't a lion there. The fear is what keeps us away from our true purpose. To find what we're meant to do, we must do what makes us afraid. The little sparrow looked down to the ground and then up in the sky, and again down to the ground. He thought for a long time. Finally he said, "But Claus, look how far I can fall." Don't focus on how far you can fall. Focus on how high you will fly. The little sparrow nodded and looked back at Claus with wide eyes. So, will you help me? Of course, said Claus, excited. Everything is so much more fun if you do it with friends, right? They both laughed. The little sparrow was already feeling braver. The little sparrow stepped closer to the edge of the branch and began to spread his wings. Claus leaned into the little sparrow. I know you can do it. The little sparrow shut his eyes tight and stepped off the branch of the smiling tree. He started to fall at once and began to flap his wings fast and uncontrollably, still spiraling towards the ground. Breathe! Shouted Claus as he flew alongside the sparrow. Open your eyes! The little sparrow took a deep breath, opened his eyes, and began to flap his wings differently. This time with control. Sure enough, he began to climb and to soar. I'm flying! I can't believe it! I'm flying! The little sparrow was so happy. Claus, watch! I'm flying! He flew high in the sky, doing one loop after another. He had never felt so free. Claus flew alongside him, laughing with happy pride. The little sparrow looked at Claus. You were right. This is the most wonderful feeling. I don't mean flying. I mean letting go of the fear. Claus and the little sparrow flew and flew. Now that he could travel great distances, the little sparrow was able to find even more food for the other birds. Before too long, he had become the greatest of all sparrow scouts. To this day, he teaches other little sparrows how to overcome their fears and to fly. And he's still friends with Claus Cloud, the cloud venturer